is a leader who has turned complexity into clarity and teams into tight-knit engines of innovation. Mr. Ashutosh A Thatte.
SMED is essentially how I can smartly modify my fixtures or tools or tackles.
That's the kind of moment that shapes not just careers but character. And I love how you turned a challenge into a foundation for leadership.
My focus is always to understand what is the common ground, what is helping organization, what is good for the person who I am telling that can we go for this process.
Hey everyone, welcome back to FaceTime with Leaders, powered by Directors Institute, the World Council of Directors. I'm your host, Sunny Pancholi, and today we are diving into a world that fuels every great industry, the world of manufacturing, leadership, operational excellence, and transformation. And that brings us to our guest today, a name synonymous with performance, purpose, and transformation. Mr. Ashutosh A Thatte, a powerhouse professional with over 25 years of experience in strategic operations, leadership, lean manufacturing, process transformation, and project execution across some of India's most respected engineering brands. From Eicher Motors to Vespa Engines and now at Cummins India, where he has been leading operations that power industries from railways to marine and defense, Mr. Thatte's journey is nothing short of a masterclass in leadership on the factory floor and beyond. But his influence doesn't stop there. He also serves as a board of studies members at Universal AI University School of Management, shaping curriculum, research, and the next generation of leaders. And as a judge at the Quality Circle Forum of India's Kaizen competitions, he has been mentoring teams on quality, safety, and productivity, inspiring innovation right from the shop floor to the boardroom. He is a leader who has turned complexity into clarity, challenges into opportunities, and teams into tight-knit engines of innovation. Mr. Thatte, it's such a pleasure to have you on FaceTime with Leaders. How are you doing today?
I am good, Sunny. Thank you very much, and I am humbled with your introduction. Thank you very much. Great to be here with you.
Wonderful to hear that, Mr. Thatte. And once again, welcome to the show. So let's dive straight in. So, Mr. Thatte, I always say every leader's journey begins with a spark. That one moment when curiosity turns into purpose. And if you rewind a little back to where it all began, how did your journey really start? I mean, what was that early spark that made you realize this is what you were meant to do?
Sure, Sunny. So I strongly believe that even before joining my engineering courses, I was an engineer from within. I always loved to see the machines and how things work, and a genuine thirst for perfection in everything. So when I started my job in one of the earliest organizations, so there was something which we call as a wall lapping test, where we check whether the contact of wall seat and the wall guide is good or not. It has to hold compression that time. So I just thought of doing it. We are checking a blue contact test, and if the blue contact test is good, then the joint is good enough for holding the compression. So we were doing from a long time, and I thought of why we are checking it indirectly. Why I don't just check the leak test over there. So me and one of my colleague did that, all the assembly, everything, spring loaded, the wall seat and everything we did, a manifold inlet exhaust, and we tried the actual deep leak test of that. And to my surprise, everything was absolutely leaking. Nothing was holding the compression. So that was a failure. I told that to my boss next day, but he was very impressed to see that I tried this. And later I understood why it was a failure. That joint is not meant for a complete leak-proof joint. That's a very fraction of second it has to hold the compression. It cannot be leak-proof joint. And this gave me something that I am entering into a world where actually I want to understand how things work, and then only I can design a good process. And I'm very happy that maybe a decade later or 8 years later, I actually worked with a manufacturer, and I installed a machine for actual wall seat leak testing of a working engine. And that time I really felt that, okay, that failed experiment has, given me something to carry with. So I think experimenting new things, trying different ways, and learning from the success and failures that has started early in my career with all the good mentors. And so I think that is one thing which I remember as a spark which I can say that yes, there is a lot to learn and I'm on the right track.
Great, Mr. Thatte. That's the kind of moment that shapes not just careers, but character. And I love how you turned a challenge into a foundation for leadership.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so getting into the conversation, Mr. Thatte, you have led multi-plant operations that have achieved record revenues while maintaining world-class safety standards. And that's no small feat in such a complex environment. So, what are the key pillars behind running a high-performance operation that delivers without compromising on quality or safety? And how do you keep teams motivated to perform at that level every single day?
Yeah, that's true. Actually, manufacturing, as you rightly said in the beginning, is at the kind of core of whatever we are doing today because converting raw material or semi-finished goods into the finished goods is very important so that you can capitalize on the investments you have done and the technology that you have earned so far. So when we work on a mass production, there are different type of production which I have worked on, been fortunate to work on. That can be job production, that can be a mass production. So whenever you are doing something in an industry, in a factory or on a scalable commercial basis, it has to be repeatable. It cannot be only skill based. While you cannot remove skill from it, there is something called skill. So that's why you need qualified engineers doing that. But at the same time, you have to strongly rely on strengthening the processes. Okay. So my firm belief on achieving some good volumes or achieving some good, results in the terms of on-time delivery, etc., is how can you strengthen the processes? How can you best utilize the skills and reduce the variations? Okay, so that the work can be multiplied. A team of 100 people doing something, suppose tomorrow 10 people change. So you don't expect defects to come. So you have to keep some mechanism in place where the remaining 80 or 90 people will train the 10 people before they actually start the work. Okay. So these kind of things are there, and I have been fortunate to work with big OEMs who have a great culture of mutual trust and training each other and skill development. So it really helped. It helped me to create a, a consistent performance on the KPIs as well as the development of people for different skills. So the short answer to your question, it would be we need to focus on the process. Okay, find out the gaps where I can make a defect. Any person can make a defect. Don't focus on the human who made the defect, if any. Focus on the process, why the defect was generated. Go for proper root causing. I often call it actionable root causing, and keep strengthening the process. Okay, so that is how motivation works more than discipline. Forcing discipline to the people, motivation works more and it works for the longer time. So that is what I think I have learned so far, and that is helping me. So this is how I can uh, briefly tell you about how to deliver. How do I believe I can deliver good volumes with ensuring the defect-free production.
Yeah. But that's incredible, Mr. Thatte. Balancing ambition and discipline is really where great leaders are forged. And it's fascinating how you have turned safety from a checklist into a culture. That is the difference between compliance and conviction.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, so basically, when we speak about safety, it's like something. It's very critical for sustenance of whatever you're doing. Forget about performance. If you want to sustain, if you want to keep doing something, it has to be viable commercially and from safety point of view, quality point of view. So the organization where I work now uh, has taught me a lot. Cummins to name, it's taught me a lot, and I believe that sincerity about safety does not remain in the boundaries of the factory. It goes beyond. I mean, I carry home also many learnings which I get in the plant, and I'm happy. I'm proud that I can influence others also to think that way within factory, at the suppliers, new trainees, as well as at my home back. So working with safety is very much essential, and it has to go beyond compliance. Of course, compliance is required, but it has to go beyond compliance, and that is what we are doing. We call it the interdependent culture, where I take care of myself, I take care of you also, and you also take care of me. So there is no ego playing role in between.
Nice. You have successfully executed several large-scale greenfield and brownfield projects, from engine manufacturing to QA facility setups. So, for leaders planning new capacity expansion or process transformation, What truly separates a successful project from one that struggles? And part B of my question is, could you share one project that became a real turning point in your journey in terms of challenge, collaboration, and outcome?
Good question, Sunny. So I think one of the most prominent things that any project manager, project engineer has to keep in mind is start with the end in mind. Okay. So what you want to establish and what problem are you trying to solve is the very key question rather than what you want to bring as a new machine or new process. Sometimes people struggle because we start with the solution. Okay. And at the end, we come to know that this solution has solved only 80% of the problem because 20% of the problem was not written down. I was not aware of it. So I always believe in starting with the problem. It may take 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that's okay. But collect everything which defines the problem so that you are sure there is nothing out of it. And once you solve this, then you have solved, and then you try to create something more than that. That's always there. But I believe one thing is starting with what you are going to solve, what you are trying to solve, why this project is needed, and what if I don't implement it, what is the problem today? So that is one thing. Second, I believe is when you try to solve a problem, apart from having a good detailed qualitative and quantitative data to define the problem and to give a gravity to it, to understand even if the problem is there, what are the portions of it, which one you want to solve first, and all that. Apart from that, you need to have a sound technical understanding also of the project which you are working on. Now, when I say sound understanding, it does not mean you cannot take a project which you have not worked on earlier. So I took definitely worked on project which was first time for me. Your readiness to learn is even more important than your existing knowledge. Sometimes I feel this. So I definitely would like to touch upon the quality setup which you mentioned. I did it for two Greenfield organizations, Greenfield projects. One is for Vespa engine and second is for the largest mid-series engine of Cummins. I was given that opportunity by my top management, looking at my previous experience. So I went into every detail of the drawing. I went into all the details. I consulted all the people who were having knowledge about it so that I don't miss on something. I consulted with the seniors. I consulted with the people who are working on the shop floor. Okay. Who look at me as a senior, but then their view are equally important. So based on this, we then collectively we took a lot of time in the design phase, approval phase, etc., bringing everything to the same page and having a inclusive consensus. But at the end, it was a very good success because we solved many problems. Just I would like to name one, like there was a lot of messing of the wires. When you implement some gauges on the line, no, you have to keep the gauge, take it to the component, check it and come back. So that wire, the cable which communicates and which supplies the air or electricity, that will go with the gauge and it creates a slip trip fall. And it creates some clumsiness on the station. It adds to the maintenance issues. So we replaced that with Bluetooth gauges, okay, which was the upcoming technology that time. So this is just one example. If you have the right set of mind and right set of probing questions, who is your customer, uh, then you can come out with this. And I have always been fortunate to work with very supporting, very encouraging seniors also, and that is why this project was a very good success in which we had a lot of saving due to some of the technologies we revisited, optimized on some of the things, and the India head of the partner, with which we were working, he separately called me saying that this was a very very smooth execution. We took a lot of time in the design approval. We call it DAP. We took a lot of time in DAP, but the result of it was the commissioning. The installation was very smooth. So that is, I think, a very good feedback to me coming from the supplier. Yeah. So that's what.
That's a terrific insight. Look, the way you described the low point really shows what leadership looks like under pressure. And what struck me was how the small practical fixes mattered more than grand plans. That's how real teams win.
Yeah, you are right. So the real success lies, of course, the grand plans are there, but it adds up only by small wins and small improvements, because otherwise you build something very big which the operator does not want. It will not succeed. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely, Mr. Thatte. Okay, so moving on to the next question. You have delivered exceptional results through lean, Kaizen and SMED initiatives, reducing setup times by hours and BPM by nearly 80%. But many organizations still treat lean like a checklist rather than a mindset. So, how do you embed continuous improvement into the DNA of a manufacturing team?
Yeah, definitely. This is something very close to my heart. And there is a slight difference between continuous and continual improvement. So when we say continuous improvement, I mean both are same, but there is a small difference over there. Continuous improvement means we are continually trying to push it upwards, just like a straight line. In continual improvement, we go by a segment, sustain it, then go, then sustain it, like that. So it gives people time to digest, understand, and hold it from rolling back. So for holding from rolling back, we use tools like the work instruction, training, etc. And I have always believed, and I think it has helped me a lot. Finding engineering solution to problems is always better than holding the person only responsible and accountable for delivering good result. Accountability is important, but working on the process is even more important. I believe that, and it has worked. So when I say zero defect, it has to come from the process, from the tools, the fixtures you implement, the process you put over there. What can go wrong? So some of the things are like the poka-yoke, you understand? Okay, so you cannot insert a inverted pen drive into the slot of the laptop. Okay, it is poka-yoke. So that's a foolproof mechanism. So you don't need to train me to how to insert the right pen drive, or I cannot insert it wrong way. So this is a small example of how you have to make your processes mistake proof as much as possible. And second is, so this is one thing for zero defect. We have to see what can go wrong. There are tools for this. FMA is one of the tools. There are reactive tools, there are proactive tools. But the intent is same. How we can control the things by the process itself. Then depending so much on the person, because then you cannot change the person. If the person goes on leave, then what you will do? So relying more on the process. That's one. Second, if you call related to SMED, so that's single minute exchange of dies. It's also called SMDC, single minute die change. It essentially means about it's come from die, means maybe PDC it came from. But the intent of saying that is you reduce on the setup time. If I want to produce component A 500 number, then I want to switch to component B, which is 250 numbers. I need to change certain things, some dowel pins, clamps, fixtures, something tools. I have to change something. So that change is called setup, and that setup you want to keep minimum because customer is not paying for your setup time. They are paying only for the component. This is one way of saying VA and NVA, as we often use the word. So SMED is essentially how I can smartly modify my fixtures or tools or tackles so that it can either take care of multiple components without any change, or it can be changed in very less time. Okay. So simple, these kind of certain things I have implemented, and again, as I said, the colleagues and mentors have always been supportive for new ideas. This saved us a lot of time because for being flexible in a job production specifically, for being flexible, you need to change setup. You cannot resist that. Okay. Because if you are not flexible, then your MOQs, minimum order quantities, will be very high. Then that's not a very productive thing. So this has helped me a lot, reducing the setup times, reducing the skill needed for the setup, complexity of the setup change. It can be, instead of like I remember in my one of the earlier organizations, it was a horizontal machining center on which changing the setup from 4-cylinder head to 6-cylinder head, you need to pull out the tenon bolt from a tenon slotted rest bed, and I have to open 6 bolts over there. And due to coolant chips, it often sometimes gets rusted. So you need a lot of time to open it. And once you open it, you have to fix it at another place. And then again, it takes time to fix it back. So I am proud of myself when I say this. I redesigned that completely out of my imagination. I made some slight changes over there. That after that change, only one bolt you need to open. You can just slide out that tenon bolt and keep it in the next one. So my seniors very highly appreciated this. And the setup time came down from 30 minutes to 3 minutes. So which is a 90% reduction. And when the operator was very happy. The best thing is the operator was very happy that this is perfect thing. So I think these are small things which reduce your waste. Setup is a waste. And this is how I always keep trying, to the lesser the waste, the more is your efficiency. That's it.
Rightly said, Mr. Thatte, and that's such a refreshing way to look at lean, not as a system, but as a shared mindset.
Yeah. So that has to come from both ways. there are multiple internal suppliers and customers. Let us take warehouse and the production line. Okay, let us take production line and the logistic team, shipment team, etc. So one of the very prominent things about lean is how less you can keep your inventory. There are 7 ways are already there. There is a complete document for it. I will not go into all the details. You are aware. But one of them is how you can keep your inventory as low as possible, because having more inventory causes multiple possible issues. So as you rightly said, very rightly said, it has to be a mindset which is accepted by both the parties. So producing 100 at a time can be convenient for me, but it may not be convenient for the warehouse to handle it. So we have to come to a larger picture to the what organization is benefited with rather than my team is benefited with. So you rightly said it's a mindset, and we have to see for the bigger picture.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so that brings us to the next segment, which is called rapid fire round. So quick questions, instinctive answers. There is no overthinking, just the first thought that comes to your mind. So are you up for it?
Yeah, sure. I think.
Okay. So here I shoot you with the first question. What's the first thing you do every morning before starting your day?
Okay. So I think first of all, I touch the ground with my hands. I salute or I do pranam to the earth that it carries me whole day. It carries all the goods and the beds which I do whole day. And it gives me food. I thank to the nature, and then I drink some warm water to start the day. That's what I do first.
Wow, great. One daily habit that keeps you focused or grounded.
Yeah, so I try to stay connected with the root of any technology I'm working on. Instead of going for the latest automation, I also keep what is the first principle of doing it. We call it first principle in terms of quality or manufacturing also. So staying connected to first principles keeps me engineer from inside, which is I think it energizes me.
Nice. Next question. What's your favorite comfort food after a long, hectic day at work?
I like a lot of sweets. Okay, maybe the drinks, mojito like drink or any sweets, but my family does not allow me to have a lot of sweets. But I like that.
Right, man. Okay. A movie or series you can watch over and over again.
A lot of them are there, like a movie called Nobody, the movie called Special 26, the movie like Fearless, Jet Li movie, and so on. I like watching these movies. I have watched them repeat over and over. Yeah.
Great. Nice choices. What's one book or idea that truly shaped you?
Yeah, I'm not a very good reader, to be honest with you. I'm not much into reading books, but yes, one very senior leader gifted me a book, which is why Arindam, and that book is Count Your Chicken Before They Hatch. Okay, so I read a little bit of it, but the idea which really inspired me is the people who count their chicken before they hatch also has the courage, also has the have the optimism to see most of the eggs hatching into chickens rather than some of them going into rotting or something. So I think optimism is the key, and planning for their optimism. Another thing I remember is from Shiv Khera, You Can Win. There was a David and Goliath story, and the person, the hero, the David, people were saying that Goliath is he is too big, we cannot hit. So he said, no, he is too big to miss. So even a bad aimer throws a stone, it will hit him somewhere. He's so big, he's too big to miss. So that was a very different thought, in the same situation, which stays close to my heart. So how you look at the situation is more important than what the situation itself is. I think these two, three things come to my mind.
Absolutely. Perception and optimism.
Yeah.
Great. Next question. If you weren't in manufacturing, what other career would you have chosen?
Musician. I would have been a musician. I had that one problem with me is I want to do many things, and I think that's a good thing also. It keeps me engaged on, it keeps me energizing on the Sundays and all that. So I would have been a musician, or I would have been a martial artist. Yeah.
Wow. That's great. All right. The next question. One app on your phone you simply cannot live without.
Uh, I think LinkedIn would be that. Yeah.
Okay. Expected. Your favorite place to travel when you need to recharge.
Beaches. I love to go to beaches. I can drive there, and I love that. So one, if you follow sometimes to Sadhguru Jaggi, who is from Karnataka, he has said sometime, or maybe Osho has said sometime, that if you sit near the sea, okay, uh, you should realize and you should think or you should connect with the sea, because the percent of salt in the sea is same as the percent of salt in your body. So you have some sea in yourself also. Okay, so and second thing is, less of us are aware, not many of us are aware that we within the unsmelled oxygen, which is made, but 75% of oxygen is made by the oceans, 25% is made by the plants. So we should not litter the ocean. And I love going to the oceans and the beaches. I don't know swimming yet, but I love going to the seas and the nature.
Lovely. A song or piece of music that instantly lifts your mood.
There are many. I mean, there are many. I love to sing Ghazals by Ghulam Ali. I love to sing some Rafi and Kishore songs. I love to hear some classicals also. So if you want one, then it may be Pratimatula Vandito, Gurubara. So it's a Ganpati Vandana. There are many, actually. There are many. I cannot name one.
Who's your all-time favorite sports person or team you never stop cheering for?
I am not very much following the sports. I would be honest with you. I more believe in playing them. So if you allow me to take one name, of course, Tendulkar comes to me, strikes me as a batsman, and Bumrah strikes to me as a bowler. Very much of that. So I like the way they carry themselves, the attitude, the body language, and of course the technical expertise.
Greatest of the great god of cricket, Tendulkar. Who doesn't love him? Right. The next question. One mentor or person who has had a lasting influence on your professional journey.
Definitely, Mr. J. Jesubalan. And I am glad that I have this answer very ready. So I did not expect you all this question. So Mr. J. Jesubalan was DGM production in my very first organization where I was for very less time. And uh, I would be honest and vulnerable with you, saying that one day I was very, very frustrated, and I said, I'm resigning tomorrow. I don't want to continue. I was just nascent. I was just after my college. So then he said me, ki, why you want to resign? That person, my boss or somebody treated like this, and I made a mistake or something. Then I think I'm not good for this. I should try something else. Then he said, ki, if you change this company, you go to some other company, then also you will make mistake. I also make. And do you think this will not happen again? So I said, no, it can happen again. Then you should not become a slender person. You need to become a tough person. Okay. And second, you are getting whatever stipend, it is helping you with your further studies. So, but still, I was not convinced. So he said, and okay, fine, you have father at home. And these are the words he said. You have father at home. And here in this company, I am like a father for the industry. And I am telling you, don't resign today. Go back home, think with a cool mind, come back tomorrow. And then if you give me this paper, I will accept it. So I never gave him back the paper. And I remember him. I mean, he is a gem of a person. He taught me a number of things. And so that's one figure which always be there in my heart. And yeah.
Great. What's one thing still on your bucket list?
There are many. Basically, I want to drive a Royal Enfield to some mountain areas. I don't have Enfield one as of now. I want to get one and ride it to the mountains.
Great. All right. Okay, so finally, last question of the rapid fire round. If your life had a title, what would it be?
Keep innovating. Keep innovating. That's it. Yeah. That is what I am.
Brilliant, Mr. Thatte. That was brilliant. Quick, thoughtful, and full of personality.
Thank you.
We have seen everything from quality lapses to governance challenges globally. But Mr. Thatte, each of those moments also brought stronger systems, smarter processes, and more conscious leadership. So, Mr. Thatte, let me ask you. You often emphasize that governance isn't built only through policies, it's built through culture. Now, in your own teams, how do you make ethics and accountability real, not just part of an audit checklist, but a lived value every day?
Absolutely. So this one thing came as a question to me from my people working in my team. I will put it a this way. Why do we need ISO? Why do we want to have a ISO 9001 2015 certificate? That time it was 2000. Uh, why do you want it? Why do you want to add more checklist, add more documents, etc.? So the example which I gave them was, it was a long back. So the example which I gave them was, you if you have seen many good singers or many good, I named one. So they have spent a lot of time in mastering those notes and those moods and those kind of, emotions. So they can, so while striving for that, they had a tough time. Okay. But now when they sing or when they produce that music, it's just natural to them. Okay. They cannot create something wrong. Okay. The system is calibrated for that. So all these things which, are trying to uplift our working way, it's not just one time audit or one check sheet. It is going to lift my way of working, uplift my way of working. If I'm working in some proper systematic process, the chances are very low. It's not increased work. It's optimized work rather. So I don't have to worry about many things going wrong. Okay. And I can assure that from point A to point B, this is the process. From point B to point C, this is the process. And while transferring from one process to other, this is the method of handover. So ideally, we are, plugging all the gaps. So that brings out best of us in the way we are more process oriented, more controlled, more disciplined. And once people can digest this, that what is the benefit for me on my machine, on my station, in my team, then they fully cooperate. People, including me, resist change. It's a human nature. But we do accept change when we understand that the benefit of changing is more than the pain of the efforts and etc. So this is something which, as you said, the governance does not come only for setting up processes, because once people know and they believe why it is good for me, personally me. This is, I think, one of the places where me is bigger than we. So we say it should be we or something. It's always there. It's a team. But when it comes to accountability, sometimes it has to also be me. That why it's important for me. Unless I internalize it, I will not be, fully devoted for it. So my focus is always to understand what is the common ground, what is helping organization, what is good for the person who I am telling that can we go for this process. This is the way I look at.
Beautifully said, Mr. Thatte. You have shown that culture isn't a slogan, it's a daily practice.
And as I mentioned, uh, uh, it has to be, it has to be agreed then accepted. Okay. So you earlier used the word like commitment over compliance. So compliance is definitely there, because you cannot survive if you are not having certain checklist. But only limiting to checklist is not good. So if you have a reason of doing it, sometimes we say that one of the very very big speakers once said that why is more important than how. Okay. So why I'm doing it is more important. If my boss saying and I'm doing it, it is not going to long for, last for long. If I understand why I'm doing it, even the boss changes, even I change some department or some people working in my team, they change, it will sustain, because it has a purpose behind it. So every governance every process of layered controls which we put, of course, it has to have some audit mechanism in it, but that is the last resort to find a mistake in the audit. The first thing, the 85%, 90% focus is on building the process such a way people love it. People want to do it that way. And it relieves them from the fear of mistakes, or it relieves them from the fear of too much of personal focus and those kind of things. So yes, it's a culture, part of culture.
Rightly said, Mr. Thatte, rightly said. Mr. Thatte, that brings us to the last question of the podcast. And since you are also associated with Directors Institute now, what drew you to join the institute in the first place? And now that you are a part of it, how has that experience broadened your view on decision making, accountability, and governance at the board level?
Yeah. So from after my MBA, I was searching for something which can, keep me or take me to next level of education. I was also considering doing a PhD or some doctorate of business, where I was exploring various institutions. And often I discuss with my wife. We generally explore things together. What I should go for next and what is beneficial, what is feasible, etc. So this program from Directors Institute, struck our mind. And the one good thing is there are, so these are programs which I can go on at my pace. I can do it on the weekends. I can do it in the late evening whenever I have time. There are live sessions out there, and it is designed in a way which is comfortable and convenient for me. And yet it's a good enriching education as well. I am loving doing it. And Now, if you see ESG, which is one of the pillars of this, is gaining more and more importance. Okay, so environment, society, and governance. So unless you are, responsible, you are acting responsibly as a business for the environment, society, the chances are not very high that you will grow and you will sustain it for long, because people are being more and more aware. The government, the financing institutions, the all the ecosystem which is there, they are valuing you not only for a technical expertise, they are also valuing you for your sensibility towards the environment and all that. So, and that is the need of the hour. So, I think learning more nitty-gritties around it is going to help me, be a more responsible leader, not only in organizations but also whatever we do. Whatever we do, we can. It can be a small thing like carrying a cotton bag for shopping instead of asking for a. So that's something small, and but when it comes to companies, organizations, the repercussions are very high. Okay, because they are doing in crores and thousands of people are doing it. So that's why ESG is very important, and I think it's helping me to widen my view. Whatever I'm doing today, whatever I'm doing on day-to-day basis, it is keeping me. And with the company like Cummins, we already have a lot of focus on HSME, which are health, safety, and environment. So as well as we want to give back to the communities where we work. So I'm fortunate to be working with such a great organization, and this is helping me to be more aligned in that direction, so that whatever we are doing, whatever I am doing, is not only productive, not only of good quality, not only of keeping safety in as first, but also it is good for the environment and the society. So I think this is where it adds value to me, and as a leader of teams, I can also reciprocate this to the people. I can see that the impact will keep increasing. Yeah.
Let me tell you, Mr. Thatte, that was a very grounded reflection. It's rare to hear such practical honesty about our boardroom judgments ripple out to the shop floor. And you have sketched a powerful link between board level thinking and everyday outcomes. That tension between speed and stewardship is something everyone in industry should.
Of course. So the thing is, look, it's like you need your left eye or right eye, or you need both. Okay, or you need your heart or brain, you need both. So it's very theoretical to say that go by your heart or go by your mind. It's a system working together. If you are not profitable, you will not be able to work tomorrow. Okay. But if you are profitable at the cost of society flourishing, at the cost of environment getting depleted, at the cost of people getting health issues and all that, again you are not going to flourish for long. Okay, so everyone inside, before engineer, doctor, we are human beings, and we understand that we are getting a lot from this nature, so from this society. So we are responsible for reciprocating in the same way. So it's very essential. It's not just a government policy something. It's very essential that we should think. We need to give back, and we need to balance the things like I want to increase something from here to here, but if it is costing some harm to the environment or to society, I need to find other way of doing it. Definitely both are important. A profitable business is something which can survive, and then only it can benefit the society. It's like both things going hands in hands.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, let me tell you, Mr. Thatte, this has truly been an incredible conversation. And what stands out most is how you have shown that manufacturing isn't just about machines and processes. It's about people, it's about purpose, and the pursuit of excellence. So, thank you so much for sharing your insights, experiences, and lessons with us today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on FaceTime with Leaders, powered by Directors Institute World Council of Directors.
Thank you very much, Sunny. It was a pleasure being with you today. And I think I am honored and humbled to have this discussion with you. Thank you very much.
Great to hear that. And to all our listeners, I hope today's episode left you not just in, but inspired. Because whether you are leading a factory floor or a boardroom, success isn't built in the noise of speed, it's built in the quiet discipline of purpose. When truly, and until next time, stay curious, keep improving, and as I always say, lead with integrity. Thank you so much.
Thank you.